Hello and good morning. Welcome back to round 2 of the finals. And this may very well be the final round of the finals. Today we have, again, Michael Chen playing Eric Lee. And the winner of this game, if it's Michael Chen, he will become the next North American Go Federation's pro. Kind of a long time coming. He wasn't able to join the pro calls for a while due to citizenship stuff, but now he's a U.S. citizen. Hey, welcome back. Good morning, Goshi, Tanjay, everyone else. Yeah. Nate, Tanjay wants Nate. Yeah, Nate and BenKyo are our hosts today, and they're gonna be super awesome. Without further ado, let me bring them on. They can start talking at the game. It's already started, so I'm gonna switch over to them, and I'll probably lose my audio. And of course, chat, you'll help me out if the audio is or isn't working, and we'll get that fixed. So, without further ado, Nate Morse and Ben Mantle.
Great. So I'll tell my story again, because I've been here at the pro quals, and I've been talking to Michael Chen and Eric Lee quite a bit. Eric Lee playing black in this game, Michael Chen playing white, and I got to talk to Z Chen for like quite a while the night that he won the semis and made it to the finals, and we discussed about how Eric Lee plays and how Z Chen can try to beat it. It's kind of interesting, but I'll get back to that later because it pertains more to the middle game than anything in the opening. I also spoke with Eric Lee a lot, and I thought that something similar to what he did in the opening should be his best chance to win a game against Chen. Eric Lee has been sort of getting difficult positions out of the opening all the time because he keeps getting into places where Michael can easily choose a strategy and use the strategy to beat Eric. And that is where Z-Chen is really, really strong, and it's really hard to beat him like that. So I advised him to go for sort of territorial and stable opening. And with that, then he could get to the middle game without much clear strategic loss or anything. And once he has a middle game and he like knows what he's doing, he kind of his fighting power is similar to Z-Chen's. It's just Z-Chen can often outplay Eric. So that's what the 3-3 strategy is hoping to avoid, is being outplayed early. And I think actually black, the way that the whole opening has gone, it looks like it's Eric Lee's kind of game. I feel like black should feel comfortable and confident, especially with what I'm seeing here. Shall we go back to the very beginning and see how it happened?
You think it's is it also Z-Chen's kind of game or no?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just definitely not black getting wrecked so far. Absolutely not. And I actually feel that he should feel somewhat comfortable. We'll have to see. Ask him later, but
so we have this territorial opening, right, that you suggested basically, right?
Yeah.
And white attaches. Black could back off and get Atari here or descend, and then something like this.
Yeah.
Right? And then usually the cut. And usually, black's going to think about either this kind of simple variation, right? Or just playing like this.
Yes. Z-Chen doesn't like playing this stuff as the white player. He prefers to play the Joseki in the game because it's complicated, and he's relatively well studied on it. I mean, not completely 100% deep, but Z-Chen is very happy to go into more fighting variations than the ones that you're showing, which are ones that I like to play. They're totally fine, of course. Both ways are ways to win the game. But Z-Chen is happy to throw the game into more complication, which pretty much has to happen after the outside Hane and the inside way that Z-Chen plays.
And this one pretty much needs the ladder, right, for white?
I mean, yeah.
So
there's ways to play without it, but they're not good.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, for example, we have this ladder, and also there could be the chance of black extending. Is that right?
So I don't know very well for other options like that.
I think so. I think if white cannot ladder like this, then white could be in trouble. For example, if white tries to connect or something to threaten the corner, but then black can ladder, right? Then of course white would collapse.
Yeah, of course.
So you guys.
But the game is very, very standard. yes. We should be careful. Usually you have the ladder if you're doing this, but sometimes you don't. In general, I like to not attach to my opponents like Shimari and play Joseki if the game is advanced past the very beginning, because any stone vaguely near this area is going to change a variation, and you could get in trouble for that, or your opponent could get in trouble for that. But basically, I'd rather plan it out myself, like play my own moves, rather than an AI move. If there's some stone that's different than a normal opening, that it could change it and could change the AI opinion. That I'm not actually copying anything, right? I'm just copying a ghost. I should just think for myself, and if the ladder wouldn't work or something like that.
And something like this is probably just fine, right?
Oh, of course. But Chen likes attaching. He likes attaching. He likes going for the fight.
Yep, so we have this ladder breaker looking approach. Of course, you don't usually approach high under normal circumstances. So clearly, when black knows they're going to get 2 moves in a row here, then in that scenario, they're preferring the stone to be high.
Yes, it was common pre-AI to say that the double pincer from low approaches is not so severe as the double pincer from high approaches. Whether that's really true, post AI, I don't know. But I remember hearing this pre AI as common knowledge.
So, and Travoke asks, what would play closer look like when you were talking about the attach and not attaching? Well, locally, the other thing would be
literally any stone in that quadrant of the board, I won't attach anymore personally. Or if I do, it's because of something that I plan personally, like not AI plan, right? But even if there would be something weird in the bottom right corner, and like some strange effects on ladders, again, I would just for myself. I wouldn't unfollow Nate just like he thought anymore. Like the moment I'm out of the opening, I Shamar just like he's really very much at all.
This is Paige's variation that I shared.
This kind of thing can happen.
Yeah, trying to break the ladder head move, and it starts to look like
of course,
digit, like 25Q for a few moves, right?
Yes, this kind of thing can make the game very exciting. It becomes that you have to be careful of what stones you're saving, what stones you're not saving, and that sort of stuff.
So here's the.
But the game, I think Eric played the 2 high approaches, and Zichen played the descent there. It's an interesting move, right?
Yeah. It's you don't usually see this kind of move. We most often see it when white already has a corner enclosure. And you might, in some cases, if you don't mind making black stronger, maybe you'll see an attach under sometimes, right? But yeah, this is interesting.
If I'm not wrong, I believe that the AI recommendation in this shape is often the attach under, but the descent directly down is instead looking to really secure the corner. It wants black to play this jumping move. By the way, that's a better shape than black connecting with 2 diagonals. I think a lot of Q players, their instinct to connect this shape is to play the double diagonal rather than the double one space jump because you worry about the peep, right? But actually, the double diagonal is weaker than the double one space jump, which may sound strange because it seems connected, but yeah.
And part of it is that if white really wants to cut through, sometimes black can, if not fight, then just give up a stone in some cases, right? And sometimes white even taking a stone can just be a negative for white, and so that's why, even though it is cuttable with a double peep, it doesn't always mean it's a bad thing.
Basically, when you play later in the game, you're not really going to regret it if your stone gets cut off and died. That's not such a your stone isn't going to be that mispositioned after that kind of variation would happen. But if you just have to play with the 2 diagonal stones, that it isn't really making any fast shape. It isn't really making any eye shape. It isn't. You're just going to regret having had those extra diagonal stones.
Yeah,
later on. You're just going to wish they had been further away. Yeah. Yeah. So it makes sense what Eric did to jump like that.
And before white can cut in general, white has to play a couple of dame moves. So there's that too.
Yes. Exactly. This is a variation which you'd expect to be good for black in most board positions. That's why Z played and I think the slide shows why Zichen chose to play the iron pillar.
Exactly.
When normally, if your decision is to play the corner first, you would play a diagonal into the corner and take the 3-3. We often say the 3-3 is the vital point of the corner, but Zichen had planned, okay, after I play some move in the corner, he's going to surround me, then I need to have a next move. Otherwise, if black can continue to attack me and I don't have any good way to move my group, then the white group would be really awkward to play with. So he chose to play the descent, so still taking the corner, and the shape looks awkward, but actually what it does is it creates for him another move to play with his group. And now with the slide, you can see that white has a base and is going to be fine with his group, even though he got double approached.
And I believe we are caught up now. That's a different variation. Okay, white has just.
So in the game,
here.
Eric plays there. This is an interesting one because it's not breaking the ladder,
right? That's right.
So often, if you're going to play in an area and you play just away from the ladder breaker, you feel like, wait, I could have just gotten this incente, sort of thing. But I think this is a case where Eric is trying to say the main thing he worries about here, the main next thing that he wanted to do is preventing white from playing an approach on the top side and in general building the top side. So he just decided that area was the biggest place to spend his gote. Yeah, that one.
This
is
one,
that played?
Yeah, this one is played, and then this one, yeah. For a second, I thought you were talking about this move. I'm like, huh, ladder?
No.
Okay, so
yeah. So the direct move, just keeping the ladder later, I think it makes actually a good amount of sense by Eric Lee. And white continuing by Atariing on the left side is a common follow-up in this shape, which is going to make the black escaping the ladder threat much less severe later. It's possible that white can allow that to happen even.
It's
once white gets the
now.
chance to capture those 2 stones. Yeah.
So which side do you think?
And of course, also the block is big for the left.
Yeah. Which side do you think white's going to?
Which side should white block?
Yeah.
I would imagine that white does a double hane to the left side here.
Yeah,
and allows back a panuki on the left.
We were thinking similar.
It seems like the standard way. And Zichen is of course a territorial player. He likes that kind of variation where he's going to keep the corner territory. Especially in this case, the reason why we both want this is because the left side is never going to be very big for either color. And when they already
yeah, left side's a little flat, and it has this presence here. Oh, your audio.
Please. Oh, am I having a problem?
You're getting a little too AI. Let's say that.
Oh no. So should I just keep talking or stay quiet until it's fixed?
AI, are you AI?
Okay.
Chat, are you hearing it the same as me? That's like he's turning into AlphaGo. Yeah, we are caught up with the game so far. But yeah, basically, in case you guys didn't hear what he was saying, it is a bit flat on this side, especially after white has gotten this move. So kind of like the max potential black can really make here is not that big anyway, and white has the presence here to easily flatten it. It's also not really that wide either. So yeah, that's why white doesn't mind letting black have the panuki there.
Often when you see you are careful about this, it means to allow white to play the double hane. Really, the double hane variation is not very good for.
I think we're gonna have to solve that audio issue actually, because it's a bit too robot. Question is how?
Yeah.
Nate is speaking to us from the 5th dimension. Fourth dimension. Nate, are you okay? All right. Yeah, maybe they are working on it. It sounds like Nate's audio has cut, and maybe they're doing something. So, yeah. So we are up to date so far. And the question now is, where is Black going to play? So the way I'm seeing it is, yeah, as Nate said earlier, this one's not a ladder breaker. But of course, if White did get to play around here, this would become a pretty wide potential, and Black would probably also want to respond with their 3-3 when White approached in this area. So this move is making sense despite not being a ladder breaker. And by being 3 spaces away, it's still relatively connected. Like there's ways for White to try to cut it. But Black can definitely fight, even if Black just plays out like this, for example. And if White invades, then Black just attaches on top and establishes a connection that way. Unless, of course, they want to chase White instead of letting White live under. But yeah, basically 3 spaces is still kind of connected. In fact, even if White attaches here, there is actually this double Hane, which it looks a little crazy, but it's like if they do Atari and take this, you can double Atari here. So yeah, relatively connected. Same thing with this one, you just attach under. And yeah, after that, looks like the double Hane did happen just as we expected. And it is Black to play now. So the question, yeah, again, is how is Black going to make territory somewhere now? So they can think about the bottom, for instance, but of course it is potentially a little awkward. Like if Black plays somewhere here, White might be in the near future playing something like this to expand while reducing. So I think just extending there is probably not interesting enough for Black. Maybe Black will think about just taking this diagonal.
Hello?
Hey.
Can you hear me well?
Yeah, it's good now. For now.
Good. Sorry.
Yeah,
Right.
take it away.
I heard a bit of what you were talking about with the double Hane thing.
Yeah, then I was
did it actually happen in the game?
It did, yeah. Well, it looks like it, yeah. And this was, I believe this is just my own variation. That would be interesting if they played what I was talking about. Like in this case, because here I just chucked the stone on the bottom randomly. And
I think actually if you press the synchronize
sync, yeah.
thing, actually Zichen played the Hane on the left side first here at C13 before playing anything in the bottom left.
Ah, I see the lit up. Ah, gotcha. My bad. Yeah.
Yes.
Now I know that the lit up stone is the real game stone.
Yes, absolutely.
In the tree.
So this usually Black plays answer on the second line, White captures the 2 stones in Sente, and Black captures back, and then White does whatever they want to do. In this case, if that whole sequence would happen, then surely after that White would play the double Hane in the bottom left corner, and it would be like really bad for Black.
Yeah, if you imagine all this happening, then any Atari around here is really no big deal for White. Even this one. This one actually would have pretty bad. It would be a pretty bad agi choice, I think, right?
Yeah, that would be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Black plays anything, it would be like this one or this one, but we don't expect, I think, Black to play anything there.
So this shows this is the one moment where you actually have to be very careful playing 3-3 invasions in the modern day. Most of the time people say you can just 3-3, it won't be bad, whatever, no matter what. But actually it can be bad if the double Hane variation ends up being bad for you. In that case, the 3-3 originally is bad. There's no other time to deviate usually. The only time where you can deviate is when they Hane originally, then you can cut it. So if their double Hane is like really right in front of your strength, trying to make you over concentrated, then you can usually cut and punish them. But this looks like Zichen is basically aiming at a standard punish to a 3-3 by Black that didn't really think about what happens when White plays double Hane. is
Right,
a common
so-
mistake.
So maybe black could have approached from this side.
Yeah, or if you want to do something like 3-3, but you don't like to see double hane, you can attach to the stone on this side, which is not the way that white would block you to double hane. So for example, here if you attached on the bottom side, white could definitely never force you into that same variation, right? If you attached on the left side, then you could get in trouble when white plays c5. So if you really, really want to go to do a 3-3 like thing, then you can play d3. And of course, white can still take the corner there, but you would get to decide something like that. But approaching in this board looks completely fine. Of course, just playing an approach on the bottom side would be very normal instead of 3-3.
And I guess we're still on move 36. Is that right?
Yes,
For the
I believe
game?
so.
Yeah. Yeah. So another thing is, let's say something like this happens. Would you respond to this move?
If I did, it would be on the right side. I'm not entirely sure whether I'd play on the right side here now or not. But
Right, like this or Tanuki.
it's that one or further or Tanuki. Those are my
Yeah, this
options.
one actually does seem to be okay for the shape. And then, of course, there's the local response.
Yeah, I usually wouldn't really want to respond to that locally because first of all, it's like a second line move, of course, but
Yeah.
the control on the right side is going to matter more for like active things that can happen later than the control in the corner.
Yeah, maybe just
So-
Joseki here.
And so here, Eric, you've seen he's just played c4. So this is because he's recognized if he answers and does the normal things in the upper left corner, that's going to allow white to play that double hane Joseki that we were talking about, and it would be slightly good for white. So he's resisting. He's saying, no, I won't allow it. And this gives white some options for sure in the upper left corner. I think the most basic one is just b14 first.
B14.
Yeah, b14, then if black connects, then you play b17, and you capture one side or the other.
That would be big.
So it seems like after b14, basically black will have to answer in the corner, or else white will still play b17, and then white will capture the stones
thick.
at c15.
So thick.
That's definitely a way that white can play. Also possible is to just ignore ignore the upper left area, but it wouldn't really make very much sense by the flow. The only thing I'm worried about for white is whether capturing those 3 stones ends up being slow in the end if black gets a chance to play another move on the left side here, and then I can't really use my influence. It wouldn't be that slow. It would never be very bad. So I think white b14 and capture the 3 stones is coming.
Yeah, white's going to be extremely thick over there.
Yeah.
So something like this or this idea.
The knight's move would be more correct in this case. The hane can be actually too small to get to the left side in time.
Especially, yeah, with the white thickness that can be potential later.
Yeah. Eric knew that this would happen, of course. He just judged that this way would be better than the way where he's going to get double hane, and it's annoying.
And then
the first mistake was the 3-3, of course, that caused him to have to choose these tough.
And
tough
probably
variations.
something on the bottom for white next, right?
Yeah, so the way to use your influence is not to build with it. You would not want to play immediately some move taking like 5 lines of territory with your massive wall. You want to be active. So some move on the bottom will hopefully allow white to start seizing an initiative of this game, prevent black from taking territory there, all that sort of good stuff.
Yeah, there's a big move around like AB area, but probably the bottom is bigger, right? And as he is saying, even if you do play here somewhat soon, but you should sort of restrict yourself from trying to go after this big blob in the center too quickly, because it's an area where only white can make territory. And so, yeah, it's kind of an inefficient way to use thickness, because one way to think about it is if your opponent does expend moves to march into it over and over, they themselves probably aren't getting any points with those moves. So even if your potential got destroyed, it would sort of get converted to moves elsewhere.
Exactly. So in the game, Chen has just played, I think, probably a better move than b14. Now that I see it, this move he played in the corner first. We see Eric Lee responding quickly.
Right. So
This move means that he wanted to capture one side or the other and not allow Black the chance to just cower back into the corner and allow White to take those.
That makes sense.
Because
so
White was
instead of
only
this,
slightly concerned that it would be slow, and so Chen takes that slight concern, and what he's trying to do here is instead of capturing those 3 stones in Gote, if he can now play b14 and capture the 3 stones in Sente,
that's
it's
great.
a whole move difference.
That is so great.
Yeah, this is crushing. this is very, very serious. White can now capture the stones at c15. Black must answer. If White could capture the 3 stones again, that would actually threaten to kill the Black group again. So Black must allow White to capture the 3 stones in Sente in this variation. It's my mistake to not have seen this originally, actually. It's pretty obvious to me.
Same, yeah. And then White gets a chance to play some kind of lower left move.
Yes, so this is obviously an enormous victory for White, and now we can see why everyone responds to that Hane at c13. So Eric didn't know why everyone does it, and he was shown just as we are being shown in a pretty brutal way here. Chen throws in one time at c19. That's a small detail. Whether or not that will matter is we're going to see, but the point of that throw-in is if for some reason White plays the co-threat of a15 and Black doesn't answer, then when White captures now, the Black group cannot live anymore by playing at
That's
e19.
right.
So the co-threat at a15 becomes bigger after White has played this exchange of c19 first, which was forcing. So once again, Chen has shown us a slightly better way to do the same kind of idea. And then he comes back to play and extend.
So avoiding even letting Black live later on like this in that scenario.
Yes, so it just made the co-threat of being able to capture those 3 stones significantly bigger for no cost. White threw in a stone and it got captured, but Black also has an extra stone in his own territory. So no cost to White, it was 1 for 1. And later on, if the trading would happen, then it would be better for White. So of course, it's just the correct move.
Okay, so White went for the extend. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought maybe the jump could be played, but yeah, extend. It's more harsh on the cornerstones.
So when you play the jump, the natural way for Black to play is wedge, right?
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you tend to fly off in the center and make some light shape, something like that. In this case, that's not what White is interested in. He has a giga wall over there. He doesn't need to make a light shape here. He could basically treat his stones as already pretty strong. So instead of thinking about I'm going to save my stones and just fly on top of this Black, he's instead emphasizing what happens when I turn here, What happens if I block the left side, challenge you to come in, and you have to fight against my wall? And Black did not want to do that.
And Black has a way in here anyway, so it doesn't really give any advantage for surrounding the left side.
So this is pretty common, actually. When you play and you want to be harsh against your opponent, when you play a shoulder hit variation, instead of jumping, extending will give you more power. In almost all situations. So you can see in the game, Black chose to push again and even play a knight's move here. I think this is a small mistake. If you push one more time to get the third push, you should play the jump instead of the knight's move.
But if Black jumps here, the issue is when White turns here, yeah? When White blocks?
Yeah, so there's some small issue there, but it's not a serious issue. We should still be able to fight that by just pushing up into the center and allow White to do the
and the Aji we're talking about, chat, is this kind of cutting.
Yeah,
which
that
is
kind of
aiming
cutting.
at A followed by B, and so if Black connects it, then there's
this would be an awkward shape for sure for Black. This could be bad. So understandable, like why he didn't want to do that right away. But if your plan is to slide, there's no reason to push the third time, right?
That makes sense.
You should slide first and
so if White goes here,
right away there.
It's probably
now you can play the diagonal move, right?
Yeah.
And the diagonal move is not really suitable if White blocks in the game variation, because Black has already spent so many moves gaining strength that he didn't need it. So usually if you push from behind, you're trying to gain power to do something that you're like happy to end with, right? So push just enough to be able to slide is one push. Push just enough to be able to jump is usually 3, sometimes 4 pushes. I think 3 would be fine here, and black could answer d3 with c2, although it's sad.
It is a bit, yeah, this is very painful.
Yeah, you can just answer that one, though. Even if push up is going to be hard because of the white thickness being insane here, we can just descend to the second line, and it would not be actually locally bad shape.
If it were me, I would be trying to avoid white getting this, but I also would be afraid to be so low here. Maybe white even just immediately does that.
So personally, actually, if I would play this position, normally we don't want to play on the left side as black because it allows white this nice block on the bottom side and to like use his influence somehow. So personally, I would want to switch and play e2, play on the bottom side properly myself, and wait for a chance to invade the left side.
Right.
Even though
if
I let
white
black,
blocks,
even
then...
though I let white block. I'll play on the bottom side again. I won't even pincer right away. Just the bottom side again and wait to invade. And this way, black can get something now and maybe get something later. This is a way to try to come back. Obviously, black is behind at this point.
That's true. I mean, if white uses like attaching type of tactic here, then they risk solidifying a lot of area on the bottom for black along the way.
Yes.
And if they don't touch it, then black can easily still do various invasions.
I don't know about easily, but I'll try.
Yeah, because white is far enough from their friendly thickness that it's still vulnerable in some ways.
Yes, absolutely. So in the game, Eric Lee chose to emphasize the left side, breaking it sort of right away, and that gives white a chance to try to control the bottom. He played a pincer on black's 3 stones there, and Eric Lee immediately defended it, jumping in the center. The reason why he did that is he thought if white could play another move around m7, or basically the area where black played, then those black stones will have to run pretty uselessly as white develops the center. So black's this jumping move here is all about trying to make sure that white has no way to attack those stones that emphasizes an area which white really wants.
That makes sense because there's this big thing growing along the way too.
Exactly.
And this has no eyes, and it's just a stick.
Yeah, so it's very understandable that we want to defend our group somehow, and playing a jump like this. This looks like a thick move that can be good for sure. White continues blocking in the bottom left.
Yes.
That's of course the same thing. A thick move that's definitely going to be good.
Yeah, it also starts to turn the bottom into territory soon.
Yeah, soon. Soon is
yeah.
the critical thing.
And then black goes for this move that they feel is relatively forcing, perhaps.
Yeah, and white did choose to defend in the corner in this instance, because in this instance, black is kind of obviously looking for a base. And so defending in the corner is defending. Yeah. Defending the chance of black getting a base by playing to R2, which in this instance is making sense because white is actually trying to put pressure on this black group.
There is another element of it that I feel slightly increases its potential size in general, although may still, like what our talk earlier, probably, maybe ignore or here was still better. But so when black slides, it's a little trickier for white to do this one, I think, right? Because of white's own shape. Mm-hmm. And like when black does the diagonal, it also sort of threatens white's shape. Not that the diagonal would come soon.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely like a big move. It's not like running to a corner versus running to a side. It's not like I can complain very much, like how dare you take a corner early, sort of thing.
Yeah, corner is corner, and then
corner is corner. But I think the most learnable moment, or the most learnable thing here, is that P3, that diagonal move that both you and Eric Lee spotted. This is a common way that you should play if your opponent floats an iron pillar in the middle of nowhere. If you can play a diagonal, or a diagonal relation to the 4/4 stone is what I'm talking about, then white can't block because it's an empty triangle. So white has to find some other way to play. It's a jump in this position. I was talking about Tanuki earlier. But in general, this is a way to put a shape pressure on your opponent. If they make an iron pillar, you can remember this. So if I play diagonally from it, then their shape is a little awkward. White has a tough decision.
And I suppose black doesn't feel that they're losing any other options by playing out this move, so they just go for it.
Yes, black in particular was thinking that they need a lot of strength with his group in the bottom right in order to play a move on the bottom side, pincering the one white stone, maybe attacking even the 4 white stones eventually. That's what black is doing as well with his stone at S7. Is black is trying to ensure that he becomes thick and strong so that he doesn't end up getting attacked with 2 groups if he would invade the bottom side.
And this could get pretty interesting. Do you think this is going to evolve into a fight? Like some chaos?
So Wei has the option of playing at R7 here. And Zichen might take it. If he doesn't take it, it's also pretty likely that he can bump up and cut. So there's several ways to make a cut against this black shape. And each of these are going to be something that Zichen thinks about and evaluates and sees whether he can make a gain in these situations.
And so the real game is still here. So yeah, this makes sense to stop and think here for a while.
Yes, it's a difficult position for sure.
Do we know how long the players have on their clocks right now? Maybe chat knows somehow.
I can say that Zichen in general this tournament has been playing very fast. Not meaning that he doesn't think. He's thinking a lot on our time and giving us really tough positions, so he gets to think even more. But almost all of his opponents have gotten into time pressure before they made some blunder or lost, because he's playing these very intense moves at Mach speeds. It's very annoying.
So they both have about 50 minutes. Yeah.
I see.
I guess how long did they start with then?
75
an hour and a half?
minutes.
Oh, okay.
75 minutes each to start.
Yeah, an hour and a half
then
sounded
one
too long.
PM. Yeah.
75. Okay. It's less time than we got at the US Go Congress.
That is true, actually, but we have longer Byomis here in the pro calls. The 1 minute Byomi actually matters a lot.
Yeah, that's huge.
It makes sure that we, if we make a Byomi blunder, it's our fault. Which it was indeed my fault when I made Byomi blunders. Anyway.
It's still here for now.
Yes. So this, the Hane over, which I was talking about, it's often a very scary thing to go into. So I feel like there's a lot of players who just think, ooh, I know that could be possible, but I'm going to get cut. Let me just dodge away from it. Usually this is actually better for white than you would expect. Because if black just blocks there, white can camp and sort of take some of the territory in the corner anyway. It's kind of like black cut and dame. And capturing a stone is a really, really big deal. It makes that outside shape actually pretty controlled by white in comparison.
Yeah, this would be a pretty big move. Or at least when black wants to settle and make white's corner smaller.
The clamp is serious. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a response by white here. It may only be bump up one time and then leave, just to prevent the clamp and sente.
Yeah, and if this cut ever happens, it'll get pretty interesting. We don't know when, right? You think it would happen right away?
It's very tempting to cut right away. Very tempting. The trick to a cut like that is whether we're going to actually gain initiative from it afterwards or not. Because whenever you cut, obviously you're not making any territory with that move, right? So the only thing which you're gaining is power, is initiative. If you believe after a cut you're going to go on an offense, which is worth 1 move, like the value of the offense that you expect is just as much as you would expect from playing some random big move, then you can cut. If you believe you will not go on offense, which is worth very much, then you should not cut yet. If you believe you go on defense, you should absolutely not cut.
Yeah, so if white has to just spend a lot of time helping this group, and then black is the one who actually, let's say, gets to play first in this area, right? Then that seems not great for white.
Yeah, so this cut is actually pretty close to going on a serious offense, because if white can save those 2 stones against the right side and then attack the black bottom side as well, build their own bottom side, like it's on the edge of being an offense or that's worth it or not. But I would think that right now it's just a little bit premature.
Maybe white plays on the left side of this first.
So that's absolutely one of the things that I would think about here. If I don't play the Hane over, then my first instinct is to play bump up one time, prevent it, and then a knight's move, something to build the bottom side. And that building, it's still not really territory yet, but it makes it much, much harder for black to play an invasion. It's going to be capped for sure and attacked for sure right away.
I feel a bit awkward with this shape because it feels very thin, but then attaching feels like it's going to help black possibly with this cut later. So
the white shape may be thin if you play a knight's move, but you have a very thick shape right next to it, so you shouldn't be too scared. You shouldn't be too scared in a position like that.
Yeah, plus anyway, we have a we would get something anyway, and we have still this thing is growing, and this thing is here. Yeah. I think the real game has not progressed yet.
So Chen played the bump just now, as he said it.
So how are we feeling about the current position, Nate and chat?
Like, obviously, white gained a lot.
Yeah,
in the upper left.
The upper left, yeah, that's just not enough territory for black for this kind of insane thickness. It's about 11 points up there in the black corner, which really is kind of nowhere near enough, right? Although, well, if we just jump back to that moment. So,
black has some other territories. I would expect that if black had Komi, black would be better.
Black did get multiple. I mean, black did get the first follow-up, so an extra move at c4. We should take into account, but yeah, but I still feel good for white there, and I think you do too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's somewhere in the vicinity of white leading by 10 to 15, I think, for sure.
So white went with the attach, it seems.
Yes.
I had trouble, deciding which one. Like this one, everything you said is correct, but then, and it might even be the correct move, right? But something about the shape also, it just feels like in the future, when other things have been played out, it might be easy to invade. Like
yes, this move is the more solid. The way that Chen shows is definitely the more solid way. It also lets black be more solid. So like when I play the knight's move, I'm looking towards cutting.
That's right.
In short order. When Chen plays this move, he's probably not looking towards cutting and instead just looking towards having his territory.
Yeah, he's confident. Yeah. And
given that, I think everyone knows that this position is very, very leading for white. It makes a lot of sense to be patient like this and not to aim at cuts, which will start fights, which are going to be hard to control. But yeah, even if this move is maybe a little bit less efficient, only a little bit, it wouldn't be any big deal. And still the white, like what white is challenging that he's going to get on the bottom side is very big.
Yeah, so black has 6, I think it was like 11 here, right? This one is going to be about also 11, I think, potentially. This is kind of question mark, but probably black will get some small amounts, but hard to say because the weaknesses could turn into value for white instead. And then black has something around here. So in total, black essentially has like 22 plus the value of these, right? Which is maybe over 30, but it's hard to give an exact number, right? But I definitely feel very confident for white because this corner alone is like, what is it? At least 10, right? And then Komi takes it up to, is it 7.5? So it's going to be like 18 points. So basically, like this thing is definitely, if white adds a move now, such as L3 or something, this thing is definitely more than 10. And then we have this mad thickness here. So I think, although black has more of the right side potential, I think white is definitely, even just eyeballing it, I think white is up by far.
Yeah, it's clear. However, black has just done, I think, is the correct way to respond to white's attachment. playing the Hane one time, and then playing this peeping move. A lot of people don't like to play this if they don't see exactly how the cut is going to work for them. But actually just making there be a cut is often enough to have this stone be efficient. Black may not want to immediately cut and try to take the bottom side and give white even more thickness on the bottom side if white would sacrifice. So Zichen is just churning in the center and allowing that. But still, that black stone will be good for the black shape in the center, and he can use that cut even from the other side, that sort of thing. If I had answered when the cut was not really that important, then black would have gained probably in terms of strength. So that's why you see Zichen not answering, playing the other moves, preparing to handle the cut. This P2 move in particular means that if black cuts now, white plans to extend down to L3 and use this as a backdoor for his 2 stones to play that fight.
Yeah, so black would have pushed probably for sure, right? What do you think?
I don't know about for sure.
Or, well, yeah, I'm not sure either. But it could be a vital point, right? Depending on how much it matters. Like, it's kind of double sente in a way. But I didn't really
I suspect if black pushes there and white just answers and eats the whole bottom side, then white is actually happy with that exchange.
But does black have anything else?
Yeah, black can wait. Black can not do that. Can play c8. Can try to go in from the left side.
That's true. Yeah,
d8.
At least one or the other. Oh, d8. Yeah, that's right. Because black has 3 stones in a row in the corner instead of 2.
Yeah, and eventually you would think about trying to look into invading, and then if white answers, then maybe we don't have to ever block on top, and we've already accomplished the same goal.
So this push at P2 is a nice, efficient looking move, because basically it is, well, I don't know if it's a good move or not actually, but it's a cool idea because it's seeking to sort of indirectly help the L4 group.
Yes.
Right. So offering sort of another way, another source of safety to connect back to P2 if need be.
Yes. It's a sort of safe move. I was talking actually, so this is a good time to use my chat with Zichen just after he had won the semifinals. I was talking with him about how Eric Lee plays. We looked at his games. We looked at all the pro
double
games,
agent,
basically.
are you?
Yeah. And Eric Lee's Go world or Go style, I don't know how to describe it, is very, very intense. Meaning, like, he always wants to be playing a vital point or a critical move with every move. And if it isn't really a critical move, then it shouldn't be a good idea. That's Eric Lee's understanding of Go. And for Zichen, he also likes playing critical moves all the time, but he can play a move like P2, which is not something that most people would consider critical. This is not really a vital point of the shape. I mean, it's the move that you would play locally, but it's not something that would like impress somebody. Like, oh my god, you found P2, what a cool move! It's like, no one's really impressed locally, anything like that. But the strategy of it is like the deep part. It's, I cover my cut on the other side by preparing for the fight, by being capable to handle this.
Follow up too.
Yes. So this is sort of the difference between the two players. This is why Zichen is a better player. He has the capability to find this kind of move, which is not really a startling important point or anything like that, but is still very powerful. And you can see now when he plays this kind of move, so strategically setting it up so that black has no clear vital point to aim at, nonetheless, it's Eric Lee. He has to find something which is an important move, an important point. So he plays push here, looking to do something about that cut right away. He's going to find some pretty looking move, something like that, but Zichen has obviously prepared for it. Yeah, here's the cut right away.
He asks, what do we think black can do to reverse the game?
So this is what Eric Lee thinks he can do to reverse the game.
Right.
He is going for the fight, and he's going to try to save his group inside here, using the white weaknesses. If he's successful, it can absolutely work.
Right. So something
If he's not
here,
successful, it won't work. Obviously.
and later on it would be like the last ditch effort could be trying to make this big, right?
I mean, I think right away what Eric Lee is planning to do, I think Michael Chen is going to play L3, or something of the same nature. Pretty sure it'll be L3. That's what P2 was all about. Eric Lee will just, I believe, immediately try to save that stone on the side and attack the white 4 stones on top of it, if you can believe it.
Yeah, so back at this move, actually, there's a pretty good chance that if it were me, and probably wrong, locally speaking, aside from contemplating this a little bit, I would want to fix locally so that it also takes away power from like the aji of white's shape. So, for example, when this cut exists, then not just the possibility of black just straight up living, but also maybe a little bit of effect on this kind of move too. So, but the fact that this move forces black into action, it feels like, and has some kind of follow-up on the bottom. So that might be just like the level above me if Chen is correct with P2.
This is definitely the way that Chen puts practical pressure on his opponents all the time. He's even now considering whether he really wants to do this L3 fight or not, as he's taking the time here. He could play L3 and go for the fight, but he's now seen that Eric Lee believes this is playable, so he's going to be very careful about that, even though that was his plan. And if he judges that may not really be playable, he's willing to be humble and just sacrifice instead. Atari down, press down from the other side, say, okay, fine, you can have it.
And then P2 sort of gains a bit of extra value maybe for later on. It reduces black's little bottom area there.
P2 would still not be misplaced. It wouldn't be so amazing.
It's not like now.
This is white's plan. But
you still want to take it and put it like here or somewhere. But yeah, it just means the bottom side actually just isn't as big.
Yes, exactly.
And then, of course, white pushes, right? I mean, this feels like a vital point to me at this point. Because black's turn would be very...
Yeah. Probably white could push one time. I'm just thinking after you push there, I would expect black to jump, and then I'm not entirely sure that I'm happier with the position than if I just...
That's fair.
Because white really wants to play a move on the right side at this
right.
point. That's where he wants to spend his gote. So if after we push, we end up having to take our gote in the center, or if after jump we have to like exchange another time, giving black more thickness and making our job on the right side even harder, it may be not really worth it.
Yeah. It's I mean, so I would I could be wrong. I would definitely play here, but as you said, if black jumps, for example, then we probably feel obliged to do this, or at least peep, right?
Yeah, one of those.
And then something on the right side, absolutely. So hard to say. But I definitely would feel very like maybe it's my unwillingness to, like, maybe I should be allowing this, right? So
I think we should be allowing that one personally. Yeah. If you play on the right side and black turns immediately and we play on the right side again, I think the game is over. It would not.
That's. I mean, the game might be over both ways, but
yes.
But yeah, it'll be fun to look at this with AI after having commentated it.
I think the main thing we should be looking at right now, because what Chen is reading is the descent and like how it actually works. So the plan from the cut was to play at L3, black blocks K3, play either descend again or more likely N3 first. I think N3 first was the original plan at least.
Okay, so N3.
So from there, you can see that actually black can play L2 and K2 in Sente. There's a throw-in threat after that. So white would have to answer on the bottom side, and then black could take his base on the bottom side and feel very comfortable. Yeah, this is clearly good for black.
Even if black doesn't necessarily play G3, but something else, I think it's going to live.
Yes, absolutely. This is a disaster variation for white if you end up giving that stuff in Sente away. So instead of playing at N3 there, then white wants to prevent that and maybe think about playing either k2 or l2 first himself. The problem is these leave black still the chance to play at o2 and cut him off. So black will answer, defend his bottom side group, and then white will find himself still having to answer again anyway.
Right.
And so this is the problem for white. This is the reason why Chen is sort of switching back from his plan at b2. He thought he had a good handle on this, but suddenly when we see these good black options for the fight after white blocks at l3, which naively looked like it would be good for white.
Sacrificing looks good, right? Like based
Yes,
on what we said,
So the sacrifice is indeed the variation which Chen has just chosen. It's this is not Chen's plan when he played p2, and indeed we can see that p2 is now like a small mistake for sure. Eric has caught up a bit, but yeah. And Chen immediately goes to the top side, actually. I was thinking the right side, top side is similar.
I suspect he has a specific tactical reason for going here, because like some variation in mind, because it seems a bit surprising, doesn't it, that he doesn't focus on the right side?
You would sort of expect that black is going to block on top and then try to make a big area on the right side. And
do you think wedge and something interesting happening, like
wedge may be the plan, but I don't think something interesting would happen. I think it would just be sort of like saving.
The cut's still too much, right?
Yeah. So you would expect an exchange like that. Usually we don't want to commit to taking any fight which is going to be bad direction, obviously. So if you play an exchange like that and then realize, oh, I don't really think that wedge is good yet, Tanuki is fine. You can exchange, just attach under let wait hane, and then play on the right side. It's not necessarily worse than playing on the right side right away.
You mean,
like, what else are you going to do?
You mean do this exchange and then right side, or do you mean more exchanges?
Like immediately after black attaches on top. Personally, I would play right side immediately and just leave that be and not commit myself to doing anything bad. However, I see in the game Chen has not chosen that line of play. Instead, he's doing the thing which I thought was going to be bad. Ooh,
right, because this is probably going to give black the timing to take a big right side.
Yes, so you would expect in most variations that white is going to take gote, defending himself here, and that black will play some move on the 6th line on the right side and say that's all his territory. And that could actually be a good way for black to play.
Yeah, so I would definitely not have done this way as white. I think we were both just not expecting this invasion, right?
Yes, definitely not. But Chen is common to do this kind of thing where he invades something, takes the territory, says it's a little bad, but how much bad? And I got your territory, so what are you going to do about it? You have to use your influence, and I will... Chen is very comfortable playing against someone who has influence. Very, very comfortable. So he's making the kind of game he wants, even if it maybe wasn't the most efficient way to get there. This double hane is interesting. So personally, I know almost nothing about this local shape. I haven't really seen this kind of thing very much before.
I think it's good. I mean, definitely white doesn't go for the stone, right?
So if white goes for the stone, black can't capture anything directly by white, but simply turn, something like that, right?
Yeah,
and
white probably
then
takes.
white will capture in the corner, and somehow I don't really think that the turn is important. So like you sort of see that white has an option into the corner, or into the right side.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, that white can jump in at S15 after black makes it into territory. So that means
So I actually think white could capture here. I don't really see why not. Eric Lee played this double hane immediately. So I assume he knows the reason why not, but I don't know.
Do you think it might be one of those, should have thought about it more?
No, obviously Eric Lee. So Eric Lee plays the occasional 3-3 variation and like 3-3 corner to start with. And if you are going to play an enclosure from your 3-3, you should usually play a 3-space high, which may sound very strange because it doesn't have a common relationship. But if you're playing an enclosure from your 3-3, something already kind of went wrong. You weren't supposed to do that. The point of the 3-3 is not to spend another move. So you want to pretend that you aren't playing an enclosure if you do play an enclosure. That's why you should play it very far away and in a way that is highly expensive.
Paige brings up a good point, I think, that maybe N17 directly could have at least some potential, depending on the variations, to be better than double hane.
Possibly. So anyway, the point is this kind of thing. I would expect anyone who plays through 3 by itself to know, at least at Eric Lee's level. And so I suspect that he knows that this is playable, and there's something with the just capturing a stone in the corner that I don't see right away that is actually going to be good for black there. I don't really see
So
it.
Zichen pushes away to just leave it like that in the corner and let black worry about that, right?
Yes, so this move allows black to play q18, and it's well calculated. Zichen knows that black can play q18. His plan is then that he could get the cut at r16, which is seems slightly annoying, right? But that is really going to be a big use for white to break the right side later. So by extending here one time, he does kind of short his liberties. If you would ever try to do the double hane in the corner, you can see after this black hane, it's less working. After white hane again, it's more working again. But the main point is that Zichen is thinking he doesn't want to save in the corner. He wants to save in the side and leave the opportunity to play the cut at r16 to help him break the right side as best as possible. And here we have a double hane. Very interesting.
Yeah, the double hane works and doesn't work. Like if, well, let me see.
White can't
doesn't
capture
really work.
a stone on either side.
That's right, yeah. So if white goes after like this, oh, my mouse is going crazy. You know, if black had a connection already, then of course this would be working for black.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when black moves this, white can just connect. Black saves, and white has time to win this liberty fight. Or is there a mistake?
I didn't check the variation part. I got slightly distracted. But yeah, so
it's not as though this black move captures, although this one would finish in sente.
Yeah, the white capture on the top side is like very over concentrated. So I wouldn't really consider a variation like this in normal circumstances anyway. I think that the main thing that Michael Chen should be thinking about right now is how he wants to save his group so as to keep the maximum amount of territory and pressure against the black wall after he saves his group. So,
do you think he's thinking about how to get sente, or more just optimizing locally?
it definitely should be about like optimizing locally. When so you get double haneed on both sides like this, then you can go for some fights, something like that. The main thing you want to think about is your finished variation, like where it ends up, right? So Zichen in the game, by playing this Tiger's Mouth first, he's saying, I save my group in the corner and I keep the most I can of your weaknesses, or I save my group on the side, really. I keep the most I can of your weaknesses in the center and in the corner to use them outside. So he sees all these double hanes. He doesn't necessarily want to use them to cut from the inside and just capture one stone. If he can use them to cut from the outside, it would be better, right? So one of the big things that separates players like Zichen to players like me is that he will be slightly upset if he only gets to cut a small way rather than the big way.
Right.
He will be regretful. So in the game here, yeah, he's cut on the fourth line rather than cutting on any third line, anything like that. And it seems like those black 3 stones will be captured in the Liberty Race, if I haven't gotten it wrong, if black would connect this. So black is considering not connecting. In general, you can see that white is like powerful in such a variation where white has cut fourth line.
And even if white did go after this, which is kind of small, black, like if white tried to leave it, for example, then it would be very easy for black to solve this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Although
so I
look small at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like what Zichen has done with the N19. He's like very, very actively keeping his eye on the major weaknesses, on the ways to seize control of the game, rather than the ways to solve the little problems that he has just living. He tries to do that as efficiently as possible, right? Like, oh, I have this little problem, I'll make sure I solve it. But the main focus, he hasn't forgotten, is the center, is the major weaknesses of black on the right side, of white on the in the center, and on the right side eventually if he would invade, anything like that.
How likely do you think for this Atari?
Locally, that should be the move that you expect. We shouldn't play it right away, in all likelihood, because if you play it right away, you lose a lot of potential. If some other thing would happen in the center to be able to play more aggressively. He plays it right away with the intent
right
of
away
finishing.
Because I think if we do something else, then white might also just do this right away.
So I thought that the white cut is coming immediately. So this is exactly why I did not expect black to play the game. The white cut there already shows that there's some potential for counterattack against these black stones. Black is hoping that he can play a double Atari, I think, on the top side, and that would lead him to some chance to split the white group on the top from its neighbors and try to capture it.
That'd be fun.
Seems very difficult to pull it off. It seems
right,
very difficult to
cuts
pull.
in black's shape. Yeah, I think so.
But white simply connects from the start anyway.
Right, in the real game.
Yeah, this is sort of a very patient move, saying, okay, I just will make sure that I'm strong there and keep the pressure still on your outside stones. It's
he does finish in Sente. Well, he does like black needs to do something, right?
Black always needed to do something. This is sort of allowing black to have gotten that L16 Atari in Sente. I mean, he exchanged one time, but if black is going to get that Atari, then black was correct to play M15 and then get L16. I wasn't entirely sure that this was possible to get, but if it is, then Eric's variation is good here. And we should talk about the whole board, how it has been changing over the course of this fight. Of course, when white immediately started on the top side, we were saying is kind of weird because black gets a chance to build on the right side from this usually. And that's indeed what we've seen. Black not only has the corner at the moment in pretty good shape, but while white has managed to save himself in Gote on the top, black managed to make a pretty nice wall towards the right side. And what white has is that cut, so he has some offensive potential. But if he can't activate that offensive potential, then this variation, I think, was clearly, again, a victory of some sort for Eric Lee. Maybe not a big one, but
right. Something. Yeah. So maybe the top side, I mean, wasn't the most important after all. But perhaps, I mean, it's kind of stating the obvious. Well, Mike's plan is settle this, make black defend, and then now it's time to do something here.
I think maybe also there were some other options for Chen to be more aggressive with how he was handling the saving of that group. He could have, for example, tried to Atari at M16 first before playing N19. This kind of try could be, this is very aggressive. It would have become very, very intense. Chen never really took a intense decision in this fight. He was just doing things the basic way.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. That gets very complicated because
yes, black can fight back for sure.
Yeah, even this comes into play.
Absolutely.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, that would have been crazy, but it's already somewhat crazy.
So Chen didn't really want to do anything crazy because he still understands that he's leading from the upper left corner, being a huge disaster for black. So even though he's made some small mistake on the bottom side, and also again maybe some slight inefficiencies on the top side, I think white is still satisfied with his position here, and he's going to try to calmly reduce this right side. Of course, black wants white to not have to be so calm about it. So maybe this will be the critical battle of the game.
So territory-wise, at this point, This is like what, 11? Let's see, 4, 7. Yeah, it's around 11-ish points, maybe 12, right? The bottom side, barring some endgame, we have about 12, up to here 16. How much of this do we want to count? But it's looking to be something like 20 at least, right? Something like around 20, roughly. This is, of course, like 3 points there, but of course the thickness will be worth more. And then this is kind of unknowns for now, I guess, but white definitely has a few points on the top. So it was 11, it was 20, it was 3. The top is, what do you think? The top is a little tricky, but I mean, it's really the only guaranteed points for white might be like 4 points or so.
Yeah. But of course, we should be counting power separately, and we can give white some for that.
Yeah, white probably does get P18, I imagine, although it's not 100% guaranteed. So 6 maybe. And you're welcome to give a different number that we can replace it.
Yeah, that's fine.
So roughly speaking, we're seeing about 40 points for white before thickness and komi, or before other sources of points. So 40, but definitely it's going to be more, and also there's komi. So realistically it's going to be more than 50, I think, but who knows, right? And then for black, we'll have 5, at least 5 in the corner there. Oh, my mouse is going crazy again. 5. The right side, we need to see how it goes, of course. That's going to be a big number. This area, also a little bit of a mystery, but there's somewhere in the vicinity of like 5-ish here, but probably, I think there's a good chance that black gets a little bit on the bottom too, even if white it's white can make territory too though if they come out. So it's probably like greater than 5, I would say, but maybe 5. Then we have 11. So and this one was 11 as well, I think. Yeah, so that's like 22, almost 30. So white has definitely over 50 if we make assumptions about potential. So black needs more than 20 here to be in the game, I think, at least, and just to be in the game, I think.
So I think that if we compare the power between black shape on the right side and white shape on the left side, and the potential there, of course black has more potential, but it may not even be that much more. It should be noticeable, but yeah, once we take the 20 points away, I think that white should still be leading. Yeah. However, the fight is very important right now, and the amount of territory which black can outline is really, really important here. Yeah. He chose to play the knight's move, so that's because if he would play the hane directly, I think that Chen would hane back, and the only way for that shape to be the most efficient is if black could cut.
Right, but then white is gonna have so many moves to just make something alive inside, for instance, right?
That seems to be the way that it would go, but to be honest, I think it wouldn't be bad to play hane and cut. I think this is a playable variation.
Yeah, I have no idea how it would go.
This would be a very harsh way to play if you're the black player, for sure.
I would be I mean, maybe Eric would kill me, but I would be confident to live inside this space.
Even if you can live inside that space, of course black will be harassing you the whole time and gaining some stuff throughout, right? So that kind of fight, it can be playable for sure for black. Instead, he chose to play the knight's move, and if I'm going to play like that, I actually think I want to put that stone one further down. Rather than knight's move, play an elephant jump. Yeah. Wait. No, sorry, not the way to attach one further down, but the black move originally one further down. Yeah. This way you restrict white's movement to the place where they actually want to go, which is the cut on the bottom right. Yeah. Of course, white has better movement towards the black wall on the top side, but actually you want white to go and fight against that. That's where you're strong, right? So somehow I feel like this could press white a little bit harder, but the knight's move in the game should also be perfectly playable. This is just a small difference.
But if this white attach goes well for white, then of course we see the difference between your idea and this one, since black will definitely get pressed a bit.
This is the point, is that black didn't really restrict white's movement towards the right side as well, so white is going to try to harass on that immediately. But it may not work. Like black has chances to try to fight here, of course.
It would be fun if black plays here, but black does have to be careful with this group.
Yes. Yeah, black can consider fights like that for sure.
Hey, chat, you want to predict black's next move? We've got like A, B, C, maybe D. I don't think they'll play D, but I wanted to give that option. But I'm trying to trick chat. But I knew you were probably going to comment on that move. And I guess I should open chat again. Any ideas, guys? A, B, C?
I think if I were Eric, I'll Hane on the inside, Hane in the center, and go for an Atari down, and then pull my stone back.
Like this.
Some situation like that, yeah. This is a very, very dangerous fight for black. If white can save, it doesn't make any sense at all. But it doesn't look that easy to save. At least I would think about doing this for a long time.
Yeah, this would be a thinker right here. I would feel like there might be something awesome I can do as white in this moment, but it would be very difficult to read it out.
Definitely.
Still, I think white can live on the edge in some way here, but
I sort of feel like I also get that feeling, but we should challenge white somehow. It seems like this is
yeah, because white's
something
ahead. And at least in that equation, these stones could become a little bit of collateral damage, which is a start.
Mm-hmm. So in the game, Eric chose the calmer way, the much more reasonable way of playing the Hane outside on the side there, and Chen played the aggressive Hane inside again.
The question is, do we think that, well, I guess all the other moves don't look too good actually, but do we think white needed to do this?
This is the move which makes sense locally. As long as you think that you're capable to handle it, it's good to do. The problem with extending, for example, you're gonna have shape problems in the center when black just blocks on the side, and already black's block on the side looks comfortable. So I definitely support the Hane as long as you feel comfortable to save it somehow.
Yeah.
So the only thing to worry about again is some cuts crazy thing, something like this.
Even this maybe could still happen, but black has to black has to go back in some way here.
I think it would be again an Atari down situation in that one, but
Atari down, right? In that scenario, though, I will. Okay, maybe still saving this is maybe better. Yeah, this could be too clean for black if it went like this.
Yeah,
okay.
That's my reading.
Yeah, that's too clean. So in that scenario, white, I think, brings it out. So, and what about
I think that might be the fighting, honestly, in the game. So this one is also tempting, but it seems to me that it's the way which gives white the most space of all the fights that we've looked at so far. So if white simply just tries to Atari on the side and make a base, you're already going to have a hard time preventing white from living locally, and we haven't actually sealed it in yet. like white can still run. So it seems like this is going to be, it is the fighting in the game, but it seems like this is going to be the fighting which Michael Chen is most comfortable with, in my opinion. We'll see whether they agree.
My eye is going.
Eric Lee does not agree.
Okay, so he's going for the simple way, yeah. Or Atari wants first anyway. I mean, unless you have a setup to make this work, but that takes a lot of work.
No, Atari wants is absolutely necessary here. The point, if black cuts and the center dominates the center, we must be able to control the side, or else it didn't make sense. If your opponent manages to make a really nice shape in the center, like a split knight's move, which is what happened, then you have to have some other area which you are yourself going to take control over, or else your play can't be strategically.
So white's aiming at A. White's aiming. Well, white has access to any kind of peeping around. Well, there's the cut, of course, to consider, but white has access to any kind of peeping that they need around here to peep the marked spot. And what that means is that white also has the option to run out with a knight's move, maybe.
Yes,
it feels like white has a lot of options here to survive.
Yeah. This is, I mean, definitely Chen played this very fast because he thinks that this is going to be comfortable for white. Like this kind of variation, even without reading carefully, you can sort of tell that
black pretty much. I think black pretty much has to block or something on this side.
It does seem very big to do that to stop white from pushing.
Connecting back to this group even would I mean, white's cut here, but it still feels a bit problematic, or at least white will just start to live.
So we have to notice as well in this position that the cut at Q7 works directly to link white back to the corner, meaning if you cut at Q7 immediately after black blocks on the side, then black's only way to save that is to hurry up and extend in the center. You can't simply connect because white will connect over top of you. And that would allow white to cut and do a squeeze thing underneath, which allows it to immediately save.
Which probably makes sense enough for white, right? Because it saves a lot of work saving the group.
So this is a backdoor. Definitely something that white could do, but he wouldn't really want to do that until he's sure that he needs to, right?
Or a black.
And anyway, Eric was scared of it. He thought that was already going to be. I mean, it's clear that was already going to be good for white if it would happen, and so he played the tiger's mouth to prevent that. But now that allows white to get that other base point.
It also disables white's running this way though too. So this move has some extra effect.
Like yes, it makes white's running that way a little bit harder.
Yeah. Or perhaps So, so black goes for a very vicious looking method of attacking the base. It kind of tells us a thing or two.
Vicious is the right word.
This is really telling us what he's thinking about.
Yes, this is murder on the mind for sure. But black has a good point, which is that white's cutting moves in the center here don't put very much pressure on the black group in the center. Like he's thinking that is supposed to be super strong, so I shouldn't have to worry about it. However, white has a good point, which is that you have to worry about it like a little bit. Not very much, but like a little. And so white pushes here to use it immediately. And white's plan is just that white will...
Oh, are you still there? Nate has cut out. I'll let him say what he was going to say once he's back. In an emergency, white does have this move at A, which if you imagine A and then like B, it starts to give more eye shape. White's not going to play a move like A though, unless it was a real emergency, because it does give black a chance to, let's say, respond with something like this to damage the corner. So a move like A is just a desperation move, but it is available if it really came down to the wire with a life and death. So you guys cannot hear Nate anymore, right? Unless it's just me, but you guys can at least still hear me, right? Let me know. Okay, yeah, I cannot hear Nate, so we need to fix Wait, what? You guys can hear both, but I can't hear Nate anymore. Oh, okay, no Nate, yeah. Okay, that needs to get fixed again. I'm not sure what happened. It's too bad because he was gonna point something out here, but he can do that when he gets back. Okay, so yeah, black goes for the double hane. This is a move that you guys definitely, for example, in the SDK, like the mid to weaker SDK and also DDK levels, but especially like the range of like, let's say 6 or 7Q to, let's say 12 or 13Q. It's good for you guys to recognize when you can double hane and when it's really no issue. Like you just have to imagine, you know, what happens if like, are you really going to lose this stone? No, you just connect. Are you really going to lose this stone? No. So you just have to do that minimal amount of reading. Black has a strong back position here and like here, so definitely can double hane. And if white extends, then before black even fixes, black has this option to peep at the shape, threatening this cut. And then if white fixes in some way, then black can go back and fix. That's a little bit of a shape vital point thing where, for example, if you peep now, and let's say white plays the tiger's mouth, now if you double hane, it's different because white can just break out with all these Ataris, right? This kind of thing, you know. So double hane into the peep is sometimes a shape pattern that white even tries to avoid sometimes. For the real game, wow, white actually cuts with this empty triangle move. So let's see here. Yes, so white's aiming to maybe kill this group. This is getting exciting. Connect and okay, yeah. So that's very cool. So I wonder if black even got caught off guard with this empty triangle Atari. Maybe no, but it's definitely going. The game is, you know, I think we can agree that the game's probably going to get decided here, especially since black has kind of no way out now. It's kind of just all in now. Like there isn't even really a local way for black to make two eyes with this black group. I think I'm up to date, right? There's no sync button. Ah, okay, the game is over. Nice. Hopefully we get Nate back on here soon. The game is over. Yeah, you guys could see that. I guess maybe because you're looking at the, yeah, you can see that are discussing the game, right? My eyes were just focused on OGS. So there was no indication on OGS to me that it's actually over. So yeah, empty triangle for the win. Am I right? Empty triangle for the freaking win. Very cool. Yeah. So white definitely has a lot of liberties left with this group, whereas black actually has less liberties than you might think, because white has all kinds of throw-ins and attaches and stuff in here that can reduce the liberties down. For example, locally speaking, suppose it was something like this, and black did something to white on this side, then, I mean, I don't even know what's the best. There's so many ways. Like, white could cut and squeeze like this, which is leading to a whole bunch of Ataris. There's even throw-in might make sense, although, yeah, even if black forces here and then takes, still this move breaks the eye, although it seems that this cut is better. So yeah, black is very dead. White has way too many liberties. Congratulations, Chen, Michael Chen, for becoming a pro at long last. You know, everyone was expecting it. And it's about time. Bye-bye, chat. Hope you had fun watching the game. It was awesome. Empty triangle for the win. See you guys later.
Hello, and I should be back. Gentlemen, if you can hear me. Oh, I can. I can hear myself because I have the stream open. Let's see here. Talking heads. We got something special lined up for you guys, so stick around. I can figure out where my control screen is. Right, I had the game open on it. Okay. Oh, if I go to Talking Heads, actually won't be showing. So I'll just talk to you from here. Yeah, interview teaser. So we're going to do an interview. We got people on the ground running around and getting that together. We're going to throw Chris Garlock is going to interview both Michael Chen and Eric Lee. So no dancing. Wait, why would I dance? I mean, I like dancing, but not doing it for you guys. How soon is the interview? Unknown. I mean, you know us guys. We're flying by the seat of our pants. We're making stuff up as we go. We're having audio issues left and right. That's just how the stream rolls. But we're still bringing it to you live and real. So, yeah, Chen's rating updated very classily, exactly on the screen. So, yeah, I did prepare that just in case he won, but you never know. I honestly, Eric put up quite a fight. I mean, I was watching kind of on the side, so I was working in the background, and I know the game was tilted via AI, but 7-point lead isn't that crazy, and I've seen crazier swings. It's not over till it's over, so that was a really fun match. I mean, I was still on the edge of my seat, hoping Eric could find a way. So you're welcome. Glad to do it for you, Goshi, and everyone else. Really glad you tuned in. So I'm gonna go put the screen on like some sort of like break screen, and then I'm gonna run around and do stuff in the background. There should be a little countdown timer. The timer is not real because I have no idea what's actually happening. But yeah, we'll get that set up for you guys, and then yeah, so stick around. It's coming soon. Yeah, thanks for watching.
Journal, and we have a little post-match interview with our finalists, and we're also joined by Hajin Lee, who's the executive director of the North American Go Federation. So first of all, congratulations, Hajin, for pulling this off.
Thank you. It couldn't be possible without all the help we've received.
Lots of people behind the scenes, but these are our two stars today, so let's get to them. Michael Chen, congratulations. You are, I believe, our 8th NAGF Pro. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How does it feel? You look pretty excited.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, feel very good. Thanks.
Okay. And Eric Lee, congratulations. I put up a good fight there.
I don't think I put up a great fight. I wish I put up a better fight.
Oh.
You made it to the final, so that's congratulations. So I was a little worried about your nails there. You looked like you were just going to bite them all off. But he's a tough competitor, right?
Yeah, he is tough to beat.
Yeah. Did you have a plan coming in here? You knew it was going to be a big hill, right?
Yeah, I didn't have a plan. I don't like
no plan.
I don't make opening preparations. I don't like the opening. So I usually just try to play the mid game and the end game, but he's too good at everything, so it's hard.
Well, in this game also, the fighting started pretty quick. Like, what was your plan? Looked like did you want to get to lunch early, or what?
No. I took we took about the same amount of time this game. So my plan is I'm a very territorial person, so I kind of fall into some pitfalls there. So my plan was to play on the outside in the beginning, and the Joseki choices did provide that. So my plan was once we get into the middle game, I'm so focused on the territory, I'm gonna catch up usually anyway. So that was the plan.
Yeah, well, very exciting game. So I think it was very entertaining for the viewers anyway. So it's good. Just a couple of questions. Coming into the tournament, did you make any particular preparations?
You
go ahead.
I played a match with Nate Telegraph.
And then I usually study. I do Tsumigo and like review games in a group with some other high duns. So that was my study. Nothing out of the ordinary for the tournament though.
And knowing that Michael's going to be here, did you study his games at all, or?
I ran into him on Fox. He was playing on a 7-dan account. My account's 7-dan right now, and he beat me. So I studied his play style.
Good. And for you, your preparations?
Yeah. I played a lot of practice games on the internet. They did not go very well. My account was flipping between around 8-dan, and then dropped down to 7-dan. And I played very fast online, so I saw some very interesting josekis. That was one of the plan, was to not fall behind by playing into trick josekis.
Mm-hmm.
I also watched some videos and saw how the pros were playing openings. Of course, I also did a little bit of Tsumigo, but that was a small amount of time.
Tsumigo, just for all of you out there, Tsumigo, you can't get away from this. Even at this level, they're still studying Tsumigo. Hajin, do you have a question for our top players here?
Yes. Were you utilizing AI tools to train?
Yes, I review all the games with AI, and to the extent that I look at openings, I use AI, which is not that much.
Michael?
I don't use it as much as I should. I started playing with the AI on OGS and with many handicaps because it's so it plays so fast. I end up playing just as fast as it, and I end up losing by huge amounts, and like almost no amount of handicap margin was enough.
I have the same problem with OGS AI. It plays so fast, and it's hard to not get it sucked into.
Yeah. Very large amount, like five stones, something like that.
I think a question a lot of us are wondering, do you find that helpful or not helpful, or you're not sure at this point? What do you guys think?
Playing against the OGS AI, it's helpful. It's like, you know that there's a higher level. It can't be, you can't get there, but there is one.
Same thing, Michael?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I think it really helped me, not on the online games, but certainly when I sit down and actually take a lot of time to think about it, it helped a lot.
It plays a cleaner game, is what I've noticed. Is that it doesn't, and it's a plus and a minus. It doesn't try to trick you. Like, I'm not saying that human players try and do that, but it's been known to happen. I'll come back to you in just a second. I have a final question. But Hajin, congratulations on pulling this off. And I know you were working this week too. So any thoughts for folks about where the North American Go Federation is going?
Well, so first of all, we are currently focused on continuing this pro qualification tournament.
Good.
That's our the first priority.
Excellent.
And when we receive invitations from international Go tournaments happening in China, Korea, we invite all our pros when it's a professional tournament to have qualification and then represent North America. So that's the biggest thing for us. And we also hope to continue organizing the professional championship and the youth championship. We had the first one last year in Toronto, thanks to the work from the Canadian Go Association. And then it's currently a little bit difficult because we don't have much money, and then we also don't have much manpower. By the way, if you are interested in volunteering
or contributing,
yes, please reach out to me. So it's difficult, but we hope to continue those as well.
It's very exciting news. So you may have some tournaments to go play in, Michael. So keep pushing up. So that's great. We're very excited about that. So we'll be back on an annual basis with the pro qualifications.
Yes, that's the plan.
Good. All right. I have a final question. It's a personal one. I know one of your hobbies is tennis, like myself. Have you gotten into pickleball yet?
No,
Not yet?
I can't bring myself to the. It's like chess. It's like getting to chess. So I will play. No, I can't.
That is a good analogy.
I'll trade you some Go lessons for some pickleball lessons. How's that? Fair enough.
Sounds good.
Well, again, congratulations to you both and to you as well. Thanks so much for providing a great week of top level competition. And I should mention all the other players as well. Lots of really great games and excited to see some of the talent that's coming along. So congratulations to everybody. And thank you all for watching. And we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.